Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So my name is Greig, and I'm responsible for the analog dream music. And for me, it's more of an outlet to get something off my chest. I work with a lot of different friends and artists doing music, and so this was something that I wanted to do myself and express just what's been going on in my life over the last little bit. And so some of these songs are birthed out of heartache and trying to figure out, what love means and my love for God, my love for other people, and there's songs about winning and losing. Basically, I like to think of it as if you and I were to sit down and have a conversation. This album would just kind of sum up the themes and subjects that we would talk about. So yeah, so that's what it's about for me. And I wanted the album to be, something you could fall asleep to. So the last probably 8 minutes are a little more of an instrumental thing that kind of drifts off into this, dream or whatever, sleep-like state. I feel like I had something else to say, but I can't remember what it was. So a lot of people have been asking me, what does the analog dream mean? Like, why did you choose that name? I really enjoyed the contrast between kind of digital and analog, whether it's in music or whether it's, with the camera. I'll use the camera as an analogy. Say if you're using film, it tends to have a bit of a warmer quality to it, and there are definitely nuances and flaws to it, but even the flaws can kind of be the charm of it as well. And so just having that kind of quality to our lives, I think everybody, has our flaws, but at the same time, that's kind of our charm as well. And so just, this dreamlike state that has a warm analog quality to it. I don't know, I just kind of liked the ring of it when I was in high school, and so I just wanted to pick it. Alright. So when I was trying to pick artwork for the album, I was looking around on the internet and I came across this image and it just kind of struck me, and I don't entirely know why. I heard a quote once that said, art, it's not enough for you just to enjoy art, like I think it needs to move you, or I've even heard that true art has to wound you or affect you in some kind of way. And so maybe that's thinking about it a little too much, but for some reason this image of an iceberg just kind of really struck me, and so I'm like, I would love to use that. So I had to do some digging around, and I finally traced it back to a Tumblr page, and it turns out it's a guy, his name is Samuel Rodriguez, and he's from Brazil. And so I guess he speaks Portuguese, and so I had to track down contact information. It actually took me a really long time. I finally got a hold of him and I asked him, and he was like, yeah, sure, I'd love to let you use it for the album. So he let me use it, and I'm really thankful for that. But basically, for those who don't know, I guess with the iceberg you can only see I think it's 10% that you can see of it, and then the last 90% is underneath the surface. And I mean, I want to leave it open for interpretation as well, but I guess for me, I was really struck by the sense that, even as people, we only see so much on the surface of each other, when really underneath there's this amazing and incredible depth that we all have that maybe we don't always get to see in each other. And yeah, so without overanalyzing it, that's kind of why I think I enjoyed the image, and I'm thankful to Samuel for letting me use it. I remember when I probably was 14 years old when I first heard Radio Plate's OK Computer. And I remember the first time that I remember feeling music deeper than I ever had before, and I remember really touching me or affecting me or whatever. And then there was another album at the same time that Delirious put out. It was the Mezzanine. Oh crap, I messed it up. So Delirious put out an album, Metamorphosis, and the same thing. I remember we would always take these long family trips driving around in Ontario, and so we'd be sleeping in the back, and we had, I think it was on cassette even, this tape, and it would just play over and over and over again, and I just fell in love with it. It just kind of take me away somewhere. And yeah, so I mean, lately I've been enjoying other music as well, like Matthew Perry and Jones' new album, Land for Living, is really space for me. I really enjoy Daniel Lanois, anything that he kind of puts his hands on, and I've been enjoying his album with Brandon Flowers is incredible. And I love Bob Marley a lot. Yeah, I like a lot of kind of weird stuff. But anyways, I started playing guitar when I want to say 14, around the same time, when I realized that music can really like move you deeply, and so I kind of wanted to be a part of that, and I never really thought about doing any other kind of job seriously, because I just kind of always thought, well, I just want to do music. And so I started playing, and I had a guy at a church I was going to, his name was Robin, and I was a bit of a trouble causer back then, so he kind of took me under his wing and taught me guitar, and that really altered the course of my life. I don't think he really realizes how much it has. Him and this other guy named Rich James really made a big impact in my life. And I started playing, and then we moved out to Calgary when I went to high school, and another really close family besides kind of took me under their wing, and I would go every week, and we would go do these like church services out in this city called Okotoks. And that's when I really learned to kind of develop my ear, because we'd be doing a lot of spontaneous, like just playing songs that I've never heard, or just kind of moving into musical expressions during times of worship that kind of pushed me as a musician. And so I'm honestly so grateful for the lessons that I learned from those people. And yeah, then I moved up to Edmonton, and I didn't have this in my plans, but I ended up going to Vanguard Bible College for 4 years, and I got a Bachelor of Theology for music major, and it was incredible. I really enjoyed it, and I think most importantly for me, it was a time of refining in terms of my character, and really just kind of brought some things to the surface that I needed to deal with, and so I'm really grateful for that. Currently, I just started 6 weeks ago at a church, and I help work with music and young adults. So that's a little bit about me. So if you meet me and you know me, it doesn't take long to figure out that I'm a total guitar nerd. I'm always thinking about gear and guitars and amps and pedals and all of that. So I recently got a couple of guitars by a guy named Dan Strain in Nashville, and he makes kind of vintage Fender replicas. Sometimes he uses like legit old Fender parts, and then he'll use them and build these guitars, and they're just really, they have a lot of character and vibe to them. I know vibe's kind of a vague word to use, but I really like them. I've got a couple of guitars, but I'm a really big guitar nerd. So I've been using Morgan amps as well, based out of California, and I really like the stuff that he's been doing on. I used an AC20 that he does, and a PR12 in stereo with a Fender Princeton, and there's a lot of deluxe memory man delay on it. That's probably my favorite pedal of all time. If I had a desert island pedal, it would be that. And so on the album, it's a lot of more clean tones, and I wouldn't say it necessarily showcases a lot of my playing, but I just tried to play what fit the song. So it's a lot of clean stuff with delay. I played lap steel. I love lap steel, so I tried to use that as much as I could. I think I made it onto 4 songs from the album. And I always like the idea. I think my biggest guitar influence is Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd, because it's a bit bluesy. Not that I'm a super bluesy player per se, but he kind of incorporated blues with very spacey, experimental music and very melodic, and so I think that's really influenced my playing a lot. Right.